All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to session 3. I'm going to do my best not to talk too quickly. Also, I was sharing, I got some new things on my teeth and I might sound a little bit different. I'm going to try not to slur too much, but I've spent a lot of money at the dentist the last year or so. So bear with me. In the chat, how's everyone doing today? 1:30 on a Wednesday. It's a good day. Got a thumbs up. Cool, I'll take it. All right. Well, today we are going to talk about some new topics for 508 accessibility. Climbing over the hump, Kimberly says. We're also going to look at some of the tools we previously discussed, and we are going to practice some more accessibility on our sample files today. Today is the last session, so please, if you have any questions, don't hold back. I know I give you 10,000 opportunities, but it's just to be safe. So with that said, let's take a look at a quick review. We are going to review the action wizard, the reading order tool, and the accessibility checker. Let's see if we can, let's run a new document through the action wizard. If you'd like, you can do this with me, but there's no pressure. The goal here is simply a review. We have a lengthy document of 4 pages, and let's get started. First, I'm going to expand my tools window by pressing this little caret about midway on the right-hand side of Adobe Acrobat. Down in the list, we have an option called the Action Wizard. From here, we can select the Make Accessible button, and this will pull up a series of automated steps that can all be done independently. When I select Start, it will begin. The first thing that this tool looks for is a title. You always want to make sure you have a title. It is a 508 requirement. When I select OK, it's going to take me to step 2. Step 2 is recognizing the text on the page. When I select OK, it's going to OCR the document and attempt to apply some tags to this document. This is my first presentation with my teeth adjustment. And I hear myself different in my head and it's freaking me out. I had to share. All right. The third step here, Adobe Acrobat is going to look and see if there are any fillable forms. This document does not contain any, nor is this training about accessible forms, so I will skip this step. The next step is to set the reading language of the document. This document is an English document, and we will select OK. Next, it's going to go through the document and attempt to find any figures that are missing alternate text. I don't believe this one has any figures. And then the final element of the Make Accessible wizard is the accessibility checker. So we'll select Start Checking. And we can see a list of issues on the left-hand side immediately after that checker runs. So currently, I'm viewing the accessibility checker window that's indicated by this little man with a checkbox. But what I really want to look at is the tags. We always want to review the tags first. This is sort of what houses 90% of our accessibility. Now it appears we have some extra section tags in here. And you know, I have a few minutes to go over this. I actually like to take the content out of these section tags. So by using my keyboard, I do this a lot, so I'm very fast. I can select the tags quickly using the Shift key the arrow keys and the control key to select a whole bunch of tags at one time. And I am simply cutting and pasting them out of the section tags. Now, this is not required. However, it's just something that I personally like to do because I like to have all of the tags on a flat tags panel. The only indentations I want to see are that of the parent-child relationship. So you saw how quick I just did that. One other thing I'm going to change this to a document tag instead of a part tag. And we could begin editing. I'm just going to walk the tags panel for a moment to ensure that all of my text was accurately grabbed when I ran that action wizard. So I'm just using the down arrow key to make sure everything is showing up in the pink box on my screen. Looks pretty good. All right, part 2 of our review is to use the reading order tool. So this is another tool, and we can launch it by selecting the accessibility button, followed by the reading order tool. I'm going to close this window, try to get a little more real estate. All right. So here is my plan. My plan is to fix this up a little bit. So we kind of know a little bit about accessibility now. Can anyone point out the error here that we're looking at? I see an H3 at the top of my document. Correct, it should be an H1. Kimberly, you're seeing years and years and thousands of pages of experience in that speed, but they're all keyboard shortcuts. H1, yeah, you guys are right. So there's a couple different ways I can change it. Because I have the reading order tool open, let's do it this way. I'm going to select the element, the little P here. I don't know why that's saying a P. It should be a heading or an H3, I mean. We have structure type. Anyways, I'm going to select that element. There's known bugs with the display of these boxes on the page. What's important is the tags panel. So don't get hung up on this content, the classification, these P tags. We're looking at the tags tree. So with it selected, I'm simply going to select H1. And you can see here it reflected the change. That's great. Now we could add possibly some headings in here, but I don't want to overcomplicate this. This next one is an H4. It should be an H2. Now, it's kind of confusing sometimes to explain this. Right now, the pink box represents the tag. That's why it's showing up here. But all of my options are gray. This is because I need to select the object on the page in order to get the options to appear. It's one of those things that is just tricky to know the difference. So that's one method. We could use the reading order tool there. Let's finish out this page and see what we have. We're going to do an H2 here. Course objectives will probably also be an H2. And then we have a list. Oh, I was holding out to mark some content, an artifact. So I'm deselecting this box in my reading order tool to simply get rid of the boxes because I can't see. I have too little of screen right now. So I'm just turning off the box. This content, page 2, this should be made a background artifact because it disrupts the reading between the end of this sentence and the start of this sentence. So with the object selected, I'm going to choose background artifact. And that should remove it from our content. I'm going to use my down arrow keys It was at the bottom of page 2, wasn't it? Aha. And we can see here, when I move my down arrow key down once, it's going to go to the continuation of the sentence and not this artifacted element. So that's good. While we're here, let's go take page 3, background artifact, and then page 4, background artifact. I'm going to close this tool for now, expand my window here, and I'm going to do this the way I typically do it. Actually, I'm sorry, I still need the reading order tool. What I was going to do was use the keyboard, but we have a tag here that's connected. So if you have 2 tags that are connected and you need to separate them, you can use the reading order tool. I'm going to make one of these an H2. I'm going to grab the other one and make it an H3. I'm going to go back to my tags panel to walk the tags tree. Look at this beautiful list that came through. Oh, it makes me so happy. Follow-up assignments. This is going to be an H3. I changed that by pressing F2 on my keyboard and typing a 3 instead of a 4. You could do a similar thing where you right-click the tag, properties, and choose your drop-down menu to, what do we say it was? Heading level 3. So I know I'm moving fast here. This is a review, and I'm simply giving you multiple methods to change a tag. Let's go back to the reading order tool just for sake of doing it. This looks like a sub point. I think it'll be a heading level 3. Someone asked, would you recommend us to take care of the artifact first prior to going through the entire page? It's up to you. I always like to expand the problem. If you were doing a 1,000-page document, would you do it that way? Probably not. It would just be a lot of scrolling, but technically you can do it any way you want. I work from top down when I'm working in a page personally, but you could do however you want. Sometimes I'll do the headings also, like first, because it helps visually place where the content is going in these different areas. So my brain doesn't get quite as confused. All right, let's get through the rest of these. We've got a heading level 3. Now, this is a annoying thing that Acrobat does. I was just on page 3. When I set that heading 3, it refocused my page back to the first page. I don't know why they do this to me, but that's what they do. All right, where was I? Grading scale. Watch, it's going to do it again. Oh, it didn't do it that time. Course policies, heading level 2, communication, heading level 3. We're almost done with our review. I'm simply using the reading order tool to change these tags. Now, I'm not even looking in the tags panel. Sometimes it's just easier to just do it. And if one was already correct, then oh well. All right, so that's a little review on the reading order tool. Next up, we're going to run this document through the accessibility checker. To do that, we're going to make sure we select the accessibility button and then accessibility check. We select start checking and look at that. Isn't it beautiful? We have 2 issues under document. If we had other issues like tab order failed, you could right click and fix it. You can fix a lot of things in the accessibility checker. This should not be used as a means to prove that your document is accessible. It should simply be used to check your work. Think of it as, just an extra set of eyes, but you shouldn't rely on the accessibility checker alone. And just as a point to mention, logical reading order and color contrast, these will forever say needs manual check, at least at this point in time. We can right click and pass them. As soon as I open the document back up, they're going to be back. That's just the way it is. And there you go. That's the accessibility checker. How's everyone feeling with that short review? You're feeling okay. Okay. I'll take it, Kimberly. If you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask them. Whoops. Type 1 second. All right. Let's get back to the presentation. So, what if you don't have the Word document? This was, someone had actually, I think, privately messaged me last time about why don't we use the auto tag tool? And the truth is, I was saving it for today. So that's a good question. Can you send us a link to the file? Yeah, the first session we had shared a link out. Give me just a moment and I will share with you the download files. I was watching the caption. Good job. All right, the link is incoming in just a moment. Oh my goodness. Sorry, 1 second. There you go. That should have the files. My apologies. When I'm screen sharing, the chat window likes to disappear. All right, back to our regularly scheduled program. Auto tagging. Auto tagging is a tool in the toolbox. It has its pros and cons. Some things it does super good and other things not so much. It's all about kind of knowing the purpose, right? So in some cases, the action wizard works really well. Some cases, the reading order tool. And other times, if you have a document that is not too complicated, the auto tag feature will simply apply accessibility, it'll apply tags to your document. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like. This is a feature under the accessibility button. So you simply select the accessibility button, and instead of the accessibility check or the reading order tool, which we've used pretty extensively, the topmost element is called auto tag document. So let's take a look at it. Let's see, what document do I want to do for auto tagging? There it is. All right. So I'm opening file O2, creating accessible MS Word documents. Currently has no tags. Instead of using the reading order tool, right, where we have to draw a box around all of this, yada, 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 instead of using the action wizard make accessible tool, this is that third element, okay? Under accessibility, we're gonna select auto tag. Now, when I do this, it's gonna feel like nothing happened. You could accidentally push it and it's going to apply an entire tag structure to the document. So if it feels like it's missing something, to this day, every time I run it, I feel like something's missing. So I'm gonna push it and then it'll be done. Oh, I lied. Cannot add annotation tag because the tag's root is selected. Well, I still think it worked. If I go to my tags panel, yeah, it did put everything in a part tag. So we're going to quickly walk the tags panel. We've got an H1, a P tag, a nice looking list element. Now, this obviously is a structured presentation. I knew what was going to happen. You may get different results on documents in the wild. That's why I spend so much time showing you the tools, because you might get something like that doesn't quite fit into any one of these categories. So the reading order tool is sort of like my wrench. I first run it through the auto tagger, run it through the action wizard first, and then I come take my wrench, the reading order tool, and I can really get into those small spaces and make the necessary fixes. And then second to the reading order tool is manually editing your tags. We're probably going to do a combination of both here. But we can see that most of the content came through. So check this out. Can anyone spot an error in what the tags panel is currently showing? It's a little tricky to see. In the chat or unmute yourself if you see it. Nobody sees it. Figure is not child to the header. Close. I think I know what you're getting at. Anyone else have a guess? Yes. You got it. A bit of text is part of the figure. You are correct. So we can see the figure tag here. This is actually called a caption. Oh, I'm wrong. I thought I was going to see caption right here, but it is a part of the image. So you are correct. We're going to have to fix this. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First, I want to get to where the text should be. So I'm using my arrow keys to fully expand into this L body. Another trick you could do, you can select some text where you want to go, and there's an options button in the tags panel, and we can do find tag from selection. Now, why is this important? Well, I'm going to open up my reading order tool, and in theory, we should be able to tag this content. And because my selection is here, it should place it directly under, but I don't know for sure if it'll work. So I'm going to use my reading order tool to grab these words, and I'm going to select text. Now, unfortunately, it closed everything out. Let's grab one of these words. I'm going to go to my options menu, find tag from selection. All right, it didn't quite put it in the right spot. That's okay. We're going to do it now. So I'm going to cut my container using Control X or right click cut. And we're going to put it with its friend, okay? It wants to be with its friend. So we go to the second list item bullet. We're going to expand this menu. And I'm going to press Control V or right click paste. And we now have that list element secure. Here's the other problem. The figure tag is not a part of the list. As it stands now, the list will be read first and then the image, but the image is a part of the second bullet. So this is one of those times that a figure can be a child tag. So I'm going to cut the figure tag. I'm going to open up my second list item, and I'm going to paste it right after the container of these words. So my figure tag is now under my L body. That was basically a long-winded way of saying I fixed my list and I put the picture where it was supposed to be in reference to which bullet point, because this is the picture for step 2, not for step 3. Oh, look, this guy was hiding. Do we have a fourth bullet? Almost. All right, we're gonna fix this while I have all of your attention. So I messed up. I didn't notice there was a fourth bullet point. We only have 3 right now. 1, 2, 3. But there is a fourth. So under this LI, I'm gonna right click and create a new tag called list item. This P tag, I'm going to change it to an L body and select close. Then I know we're in the weeds here a little bit. We're going to cut and we're going to paste child on the list element. Aha, we have the same error here with some text. So we need to take our reading order tool. We need to come in and grab this text, mark it as text. I'm going to select a bit of it, go to find tag from selection. I know we are way in the weeds here. Bear with me. All I'm doing is fixing this list element. And we will take this figure, cut it, and we're going to paste it under the L body. All right, so now we have a properly formatted list with 2 images. That was super intense. I realized that. I wanted to show you, though, of what you can do to fix it, and really using that wrench to make the changes you need, okay? That's what's important here. I realized that was complex, though. Yeah, so the auto tagging got us there. I just went way off on a tangent on auto tagging, but there you go. And now you guys are going to try some auto tagging. And what I'd like for you to try it on is this file called Creating Accessible MS Word Documents. I'm putting it in the chat now. And these are the directions. We're going to run auto tagging and review the tag order. And then if you're feeling good, I want you to practice using the reading order tool to fix what you can. Okay, we're going to take 15 minutes to work on this activity. I'll be here if you have questions, but that is the activity. Don't get hung up on doing it perfectly like I did. It's more important for you to practice using the tools. All right, I can't take the silence anymore. Someone's got to have a question, or I'm going to assume you all are running through this perfectly. Should I call on some of you? It's an old trick, right? All right, somebody give me something. Undo command works. Yeah, it does sometimes. It does sometimes. I don't know when specifically. Like I couldn't explain to you what things can be undid, but yeah, sometimes it works. Kimberly, what are you stuck on? When you say you're still stuck, let me help. Okay. Are you stuck on the part of finding it? I assume that's maybe where you're stuck. Sometimes when you use the reading order tool, aha, all right. See, I can help with that. So it's possible it's somewhere else. So you'll need to find the container. If it's this one, if it's this list element, you can highlight it and then go to the options button over here on the left. If we do find tag from selection, this is going to search the tags panel for that tag. Now the tricky part is cutting it and then locating the list item you want it to be in. You can use your arrow keys to expand the L body of the second list item. And then you can paste. I'm happy to assist further if you would like. I see you unmuted yourself, Jerminder. You have a question?
Yeah, no, I was just going to make a follow-up that when I was trying to do the same thing, I cut and paste the part of the list that was missing. So I undo it because I put it in the wrong space. So it worked for me. So I was happy. I don't know, hey, I'm stuck. How can I find that? That was work for me.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's weird. Some things work really well. And I'm glad you were able to do the thing that when you did it, it pasted it right under. Uh, that's how I normally do it. But I mean, you saw it happen on my screen, right? It doesn't always behave, but
Actually,
good.
actually, it did not paste right under where I intended it to, but I thought that I made a mistake. So, oops, let me undo, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for your guys' participation there. I like these in person way more. I love talking to people. This is so hard for me with no feedback. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right. So we're going to jump into a little more lecture. And we're going to talk about some special considerations. Now, we've talked a lot about the tools for a 508 compliant PDF, but there's a few other things that kind of have their own category. We're going to talk about those. The first one is color contrast. There is a tool called the Color Contrast Analyzer. Let me get you this link for that tool. And it is a free tool. I'm going to put it in the chat. It's a free tool that can allow you to test color contrast for your font and background. It's a lightweight tool. I've pulled it up on my screen here. I'm going to give you just a brief sample of what it does. So at the top, we have our foreground color. This is the font color. We have some options that we could change. And then we have our background color, which is what the font is sitting on. Currently, we have black font on a white background. So that's what this sample preview is. Below that, we have different WCAG standards, WCAG 2.1. And this will tell us whether or not our colors if they meet the standards. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually test this blue and white up here. So my foreground color or font color is white. It pulls up a little eyedropper tool. Currently, my sample is white on white. That's not very helpful. But my background color, I can use the little eyedropper tool, and I'm going to select this blue. We can then see, whoops, I messed that up. Hold on one second. We can now see the example text to make sure we're testing the right area. And we can see it passes AA and AAA standards. Section 508 is only AA. That's the only one you have to worry about. Now, if this didn't quite fit, like let's say it failed here, you can actually take the slider and move it around and it will live update whether or not it passes AA standards. Let's take this font and see if we can get a fail. I got a fail on AAA there by grabbing this. You can also synchronize the values so they move together. There we go. So as it sits now, we can see the example text here, right? Purple font on a dark blue background. Fails our AA requirement and fails AAA completely. Anyways, it's a great tool. I use it on a daily basis. And something to note, the default links that are created with Microsoft Office products fail color contrast. You can change it in your default settings to a color that works. I've listed out a color here for reference if you would like. It's a hex color, so it's got a hashtag 2039A3. That is what this color is right up here on this link. And this link does pass color contrast requirements. But when I created this presentation in PowerPoint, the default link color did fail originally. All right. Next up is document properties. Again, this is its own sort of category. For 508 compliance, we have a few things we have to set for our document properties. The first is the title under metadata. Next, we need to ensure the security tab includes what's called content copying for accessibility. Make sure to set it to allowed. And we're going to walk through this. And then the proper language is set on the advanced tab. Now, some of this, our automated tools will run us through, like the title and language. But if you're not doing those automated tools, you still need to set these. So to open the properties menu of a PDF, you select the file button and then properties. And in my screenshot, you're going to select number 1, the description, and then you're going to fill out the metadata. The title is the only one actually required, but a good best practice is to simply fill them all in. Now, on that same window, instead of the description tab, you're going to select the security tab. My screenshot has a number 2 element about midway down. And that option is content copying for accessibility, colon for set to allowed. Now, if it says disabled, this is where you need to change the settings as indicated by number 3 in the screenshot under the change settings option. We want to make sure that it says allowed. Finally, on the advanced tab, you want to ensure your language is set properly. Most of these will be English, but you may find a time where you need to set it to Spanish. This is what's directly communicated with assistive technology, so it's very important. Table considerations. So we talked a lot about tables throughout the last couple of days. They get pretty complicated, and even more so when we look at what 508 actually is saying about tables. So here's what I'll say. Try to avoid using merged cells. If you do use merged cells, you need to set the scope of the header to either column or row, which is a specific option within the table. Tables are not used for layout. If you have a table, it should be used to display data only. And all tables need to have a summary added, at least currently. Next up is repetitive content marked as artifact. We kind of talked about that a little bit with the page numbers on the bottom of pages. This actually is a 508 requirement though. So if you have repeating content, it's okay to tag it the first instance. And in some cases, I've worked with a student who was blind who wanted the page numbers left in. He did not care that it broke up the content. In that case, that was an accommodation, so we did that. But normally, you would tag any repeating content as an artifact. So, are you guys ready for the final activity? I hope so. I have a file that I'm going to share called Final Activity, dropping it in the chat now. And here's what I would like for you all to do. Essentially, I want to see you make this document accessible. Now, I'm going to drop these directions in the chat. If you like, if this is too complicated, feel free to work on one of the other files I shared with you. Basically, we're going to do it all. We're going to first choose our own accessibility tool. You can auto tag, use the reading order tool, the action wizard. You're then going to ensure the tags are correct by opening up the tags panel and verifying the content. You're going to add appropriate alt text to the images. And for this one, I'd like for you to update the document properties. I believe there's a little surprise in there for those of you that make it to color contrast. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get that far. But if you're feeling good, you'll probably know what I'm talking about as soon as you see the document. And finally, you're going to run an accessibility check and try to fix any of the remaining issues. And this is the final activity of the day. So in fact, this is the end of the content. After this activity, we're going to walk through it a little bit. So don't hang on to those questions. I'm going to stop sharing for now, and we're going to take the next 15 minutes to work through this final activity. I'll be here if you have questions, and good luck. Oh, I step away for 1 second and I get a question. I love it. Appropriate nesting. Appropriate nesting failed means that the headings are out of order. So it means that you have like a heading 3 and there's no heading level 2 or 1 above it. Usually. So you need to fix the headings above it to make sure they're not skipping order, and that will fix that issue. Perfect. Good question, and my apologies on the delay. I'm now here sitting. All right. Kimberly, you said, looks like the auto tag tagged a table that spreads over 2 pages as 2 figures. Let's take a look at that and see. Let me first pull up my final activity document. And just because I got the question, the tool I'm going to choose is the auto tagger. Under accessibility, I will select auto tag. And let's take a look at what we have. One moment, I'm just checking the chat. How did you cheat, Germander?
I don't know. I just converted the document in Word and then made it accessible there, and then converted it into PDF again, and then just ran it. So there were a few problems.
That is not cheating. That is excellent. You get 1 million bonus points. That's great work. I normally don't advise people do that because it's confusing to do, but if you feel comfortable, sometimes that is the best way to do it, especially when you have funky files that aren't behaving. If you can get it back to Word, that's great. That's in a very advanced of you to do. So good for you. That's fantastic. All right. We ran the auto tagger. We're just going to fly through the content to make sure everything is showing up properly. Aha, here's where you were saying we have a figure tag. That's not very helpful. And the rest of our content is there. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to close it, and I'm just going to see if I get the same results. I closed it, reopened it. We're going to see if we get the same results running the action wizard. It's possible we will, but I just want to make sure. So I'm very quickly going to run this through. Let's see what we get. Because this is a demo and I'm running out of time. Oh, they are images. I'm just putting dummy alt text in. All right, let's go back to our tags panel. Let's see what the heck is going on with these tables. Why are they misbehaving so badly? All right, well, they're coming through as a figure, which is not good. These are obviously tables. Let's see if we can use the reading order tool to fix some of this content. Now we're gonna have to do one table at a time, first of all. So I select my table content, and then I'm gonna select the table button. And it took me to the top of the document. While I'm here, I'm gonna artifact this page 3 so it will get out of my way. And then let's see if we can't also tag this table as a table. All right, we're gonna close that out and let's see what happened. Voila, we at least now have 2 tables in our tags panel. They're not in the right spot, but you know, baby steps. This is also why I like to have a flat tag tree. You can see where it gets a little crazy in here. So I'm actually gonna do that now. I'm gonna take these tags out of the part and section tag. These are visual tags that don't do a whole lot for me. I'm gonna delete them. And then I'm gonna take this content. This appears to be the bottom end of the content. It is. I'm gonna cut these tags out, and then I wanna place them in the correct location, which is under this section tag, which also needs to be expanded. All right. And if I'm doing this too quickly, I know we are recording, so you can review the video, but I'm simply doing what I've been talking about. I'm just doing it fast. So here's what we did. We had a table that went onto 2 pages, both of which were nested under figure tags. These are not figures, they're tables. I used the reading order tool under accessibility reading order to re-tag the content as a table. Let's see the results of that. We now have 2 tables here. I'm going to expand these tables. And we're just going to take a peek at what's happening. Oh, they're ugly. Anyone want to take a guess why they're ugly? Why I'm saying that? What do you guys think? What's wrong with this table row that I'm looking at?
I think it kind of dissected the words in each row and thought that is a single row in there. So
this is yeah, that's what I was looking for. So no division of rows. Yep, each line is separate. Yeah, you guys got it. So as it sits now, it would read 2 minor eruptive onset of increase in confirmation of. That's completely useless. And then we have the second page of the table. It actually has the same issue. Let's begin tackling this. I'm not going to fix everything here because it's going to take a while, but I'm going to show you what I would do. So first and foremost, I'm cutting all of the rows out of the second table and putting them all under one table. So we at least have the problem all under one tag. Ruth Ann says, all the links showed up as span. I was confused by that too. All right, we'll take a look at that. Let me show you how we're first gonna fix some of this. I'm not gonna fix the whole table because it's gonna take forever. But you know, good job security. You can learn how to do this. So here we go. We're gonna first expand a couple of the table rows. We have our table data here. I'm just going to expand that one out one more because this is one that is missing the word phenomena. Is that it? Yeah. And then underneath it, this next table row, we have some blank cells, but then we actually have the text that we're missing. So I'm going to simply cut this container using Control X, use my arrow key to go up to the right spot, Control V to paste. You can also click and drag to the right location. Now, this table row, when I select it, it's not highlighted on my screen because it doesn't have any content in it. I can just delete it out. Same with this one. This has a blank space here. I'm going to simply delete the row, and now it's on to the next one. So as you can see, we fixed table row 1. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to fix it even further. Kimberly asked, do we need to make them a TH? Totally. In this example, you do. So you can select all of them You can hold the control key and click them. You can also hold the shift key, select the first and the last. It'll select every tag in between. Or you can do what I do, which is hold the shift key and the down arrow, and it will select all of those tags. From here, we're going to right click, go to properties, and instead of table data cell, we will choose table header cell and select close. All right, let's fix one more. It's going to be a little tricky. So I'm going to expand these out. I'm going to do it quickly, okay? Just for sake of time. So I'm going to cut, paste. In fact, I'm going to go down to the next one, and we're going to finish each one at a time. It's very easy to mess this up. So you definitely have to be paying attention to what you're doing. Now, there's another way we could do this. Now you see me do it the long way. Here's another thing we could do. You can open up your reading order tool or not. And you can grab all of the text at once, mark it as text. I'm going to select a little bit of it under the options button, go to find tag from selection, and then I'm going to cut that content and paste child. So that's one way you can fix it a little faster. Honestly, that's probably the fastest route. I could move all of the container elements one at a time, how you saw, but sometimes it's just faster to open up that reading order tool, take the content, find it, reinsert it. It's a very long-winded process. I feel forever employable having this knowledge. Seriously, if you can figure out how to do it, this is about excuse me. This is about how complicated it will get. It doesn't get too much more complicated than what you're seeing with this table, unless we start going into forms, in which case, you know, it's all bad news. But anyways, let's move on from this table and let's just pretend it's fixed for sake of demo time. Ruth Ann asked, all the links showed up as spam. Let's find a link. Style span. Yeah. You're right. I think that is my fault. I think my sample document is messed up. So I'm not gonna fault anyone here on that. Yeah, that's my fault. So it should actually be link. What I'm guessing is these links aren't live though. So if we created a link here, just doing a dummy one, it fixes it. But yeah, I gave you a file that had broken links. That's my bad. In fact, I need to make a note to fix that. Oh my goodness. Sorry, 1 second. Fix final activity to include links. All right, so you found a bug. That's also worth 1,000,000 points. Good job, Ruth Ann. That's what you would do though. You could reassign the links there and fix them that way. But yeah, otherwise we would just kind of keep going. We want to make sure our alt text is in there. So you can select a figure tag, right click properties, and we can see in the alternate text my words earlier called test. I'm actually going to change this. So a Fisher vent opened on Hawaii's, I can't spell very good, Kilauea volcano. All right, that's how you can fix that. But here's another option, okay? Because we have the paragraph text on the page, it kind of makes my description pointless. So I'm going to artifact that image. You don't have to do this, but we're going to. Background artifact. And now it creates that blank figure tag here that I can simply delete out. So that's one option you can do there. Ooh, did anyone find the color contrast issues? I'm going to assume this was easy. Orange. So this isn't, it's funny with color contrast. Okay, awesome. Yeah, here's how you fix it. It's not really, so it's an accessibility fail, but it's not an accessibility fix. You probably overthought it. So to change it, you have to go to edit PDF. And this is a tool we don't discuss a whole lot. You simply select the text and you change it from this hideous orange to, I'm just going to do black and select close. And that will fix it. Kimberly asked me, can we do a figure with caption for that area? I assume you're talking about this image. Let's do it on another image. This one is missing. We can do it maybe on this one. Let's try to find this image. So Kimberly had asked, can we put a caption in there instead? Unfortunately, I can't scroll down any further, so I'm working in the bottom left of my screen here. I'm going to right click on the image and select new tag and select caption. It's on the very bottom here now. What we could do if we wanted, we could take this text here. Wait, are we working in option A or option B? All right, we're working in option B. Now, this is supposed to be a list element fix. We would make A and B a list, but for sake of demo here, we're going to put this information as a caption to this image. So I'm going to find the tag, which is here. I'm going to control exit, right click on my caption tag, and do paste child. And the figure does not need to be a child. And so there we go. We have a figure tag that is now connected with the caption tag. Technically, again, this was supposed to be a list element fix, but you know, we're the artists, so we can do really whatever we want. If I want it as a caption, then so be it. That's how you would fix that. Okay, let's see. Did we kind of address everything? I know we didn't necessarily fix the document, but it's all about the practice here. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing on there and leave the floor open. So we got about 10 minutes left. That is the end of my presentation. I guess technically I have one little piece here. So we should have, at the end of these 3 sessions, we should have been able to learn how to set up Adobe Acrobat with our essential accessibility tools. We should be able to explain how tags are interpreted by assistive technology. The goal here was really to understand why we mark things as figures or tables or lists or links, because that information is what's communicated to AT. We should have learned how to run the action wizard, full check, auto tagging, determine how to address the accessibility checker results, use the reading order tool, apply basic tag manipulation, understand color contrast requirements, apply document metadata. And that's it. That's all we learned, you guys. Not too bad. And yeah, that's it for me. If you guys have questions, you can visit these resources on the screen, cccaccessibility.org. You're also welcome to email me if you would like, if you have follow-up questions. But otherwise, you get 10 more minutes to yourself. So thank you, everyone. I had a great time.
Any questions for Shawn? I guess not. Shawn, thank you so much
Thank you, guys.
for doing this for us. Fresno City College really appreciates it. And it's been a pleasure to work with California Community College's Accessibility Center.
Of course, of course. All right, well, have a wonderful day, everyone. And I'm sure we'll cross paths again. Accessibility is a small world, and I seem to be everywhere in it. So don't be nervous. You can tell I'm super friendly. Send me an email if you have questions. I'm happy to help.
Mind putting your email in the chat there?
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. sJordison@ccctechcenter.org.
And thank you to our audience for joining us for this series. We hope to bring you more professional development having to do with Microsoft and upcoming in August and to September. And just keep a lookout for emails from me announcing that. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.